So Donald Trump signed the bill officially reopening the government after the longest ever government shutdown, at least for now. Next year, I'm sure we'll have one that's even bigger, and that's a big old victory for him, right? It's great, at least for now. I mean, it's terrible for the American people, of course. Their health insurance costs are now going to go up. That's what this fight was all about. And the Democrats rewarding him for trying to force millions to go hungry as leverage against them. That sucks too. I don't like for them to betray us in that way, but hey, it's a victory. It's some kind of victory. I mean, we'll have to see how his voters think about it next year after all the damage that his decisions are making to their lives, but it's at least a temporary victim, right? But for now, if we couldn't get the extensions of the ACA subsidies, which again was what this fight was all about, could we at least get some of the crap Democrats who betray their voters out of office? I mean, they've shown their colors once again. They didn't need to. We knew who they were, but they reminded us of how terrible they were and how when it really comes down to it, we cannot depend on them. And so could we finally at least get rid of some of them? Well, AOC came forward and made clear that while a lot of people are focusing on Chuck Schumer, and rightfully so, he is not the only problem in the Senate. Take a look.
I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there was no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing.
Yeah, and so I'm very glad, by the way, that she is pointing that out. And it's something that we should have focused on way more on Monday here on the damage report, which, so you have the 8 that actually voted for it. You have Chuck Schumer who didn't, and he comes out and he's frustrated about it. But like, you don't get to those 8 coordinating without Chuck Schumer, those 8 who don't have to run for re-election in the next couple of years. I mean, Chuck Schumer didn't have to vote for it, even though he doesn't really seem that mad about it, because that would have hurt him more immediately. Like, this is a coordinated thing, and she is right to point that out. And it's a point that she's really hammering home in interview after interview. Take a look.
Should Chuck Schumer stay as minority leader?
I think what is so important for folks to understand is that this problem is bigger than one person, and it actually is bigger than the minority leader in the Senate. You had 8 Senate Democrats who coordinated their own votes on this, as well as you have 2 retiring members. Many of them are also up in several cycles from now, with the hope that people are going to forget this moment. And I think what's important is that we understand that this is not just a leader is a reflection of the party. And Senate Democrats have selected their leadership to represent them. And so the question needs to be bigger than just one person. We have several Senate primaries this cycle. I know I'm being asked about New York. That is years from now. I have to remind my own constituents because they think that this election is this year.
I love how she can't help but have that big sort of like guilty smile there. She knows, but she's right. So if Chuck Schumer didn't have anything to do with that, then he should be removed from his position because that is a goddamn embarrassment. If he did have something to do with it, then he should definitely be removed from his position because that's a massive betrayal of his voters. There's no way to spin this that doesn't result in Chuck Schumer needing to be removed from his position. Now, to be fair, before this entire thing, he also deserved to be removed from his position. I mean, who the hell would choose Chuck Schumer other than Senate Democrats? What regular Democrat was like, we want Chuck, we want, nobody actually thinks that. It could have been almost anyone and it would have been better. Maybe not Fetterman. And so he does need to be removed. But as she points out, just getting rid of that leader, like if Bernie Sanders became minority leader tomorrow, that doesn't stop 8 Democrats from screwing us over every chance they get. They need to be primaried and they need to be replaced. Almost every single Democrat in the Senate deserves to be replaced. There's like less than 5 that are worth even half a damn. And so I think we should focus on Chuck Schumer to some extent, but I agree with her that we shouldn't do it to the detriment of ignoring that the others need to be replaced too. Now, where I diverge from her is she's doing this thing where she's like, nah, I don't even want to think about whether I would primary him or whatever. Like, no, We get to think about that because it does actually matter. And you're thinking about it. You're having meetings about it. Like, I think AOC is generally a lot more honest than most politicians, but don't try to tell me that you haven't had conversations about that. I just don't believe it. And if you haven't, you should be. You really should be. Whether you end up running or not, you should be having that conversation. So that is where I diverge from her. I'm not gonna do that thing of like, oh, I'm gonna wait 2 more years before I start talking about it. No, it's too important. It's worth talking about now. But she is right to focus our attention on the many others that could potentially be primaried and replaced just next year. Let's return briefly before we end to Donald Trump. He was super happy about this, about reopening the government. He said people were hurt so badly. And as the New York Times reminds everyone, he's the one fighting in court to make sure that he doesn't have to fund food stamps. He's the one who tried to fire thousands of federal workers, threatened to withhold back pay from them during this time. He's the one that insisted that the government open back up without extensions of those ACA. So he is ACA subsidies. So he is right. People were hurt so badly because of him. And that's why I couldn't agree more with another thing that he said when he said, I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. And I agree. Please don't forget what's been done to our country and who did the doing.